Somebody get it. You got your own chair? Nah. You got your own chair?
Who is serving you? Who
was doing that?
Who is serving you?
You got your own chair? You can see your ear. You can see your eye.
Okay,
Switch people.
Music gonna start here.
alright, everybody switch.
Remember, you have to stand up in front of the person. You have to do whatever it takes.
Gone too far. You think we've got too radical with our message? Well, I got news for you. You ain't heard nothing yet. And if you don't know, now you know.
June over here. I don't know who you call him. I see, only trying to help each other, man. Only want to disturb each other.
You want this serving us? You want this serving us? No, you want this serving us?
Nobody gets to
No. Joe got it. People still trying to they plan to share the prize. One goes to West.
Alright folks, alright. Let's get these two wonderful ladies a round of applause. Yeah, very good, well done.
Who is it? Nobody is studio, nobody friends.
I find the ladies win this too much.
Nah, they didn't miss it.
One day I will get a gentleman to bring it. One day. One day. I get somebody to bring it. Yeah, let me do something. The lady said she had to block out the distractions. She had to block it out.
Yeah, but she can be still right.
She can be still up. Who was your partner? Who was your partner? Yeah?
Nah, I'm not going to this.
Where's that?
I'm going to try that.
Yeah, who was your partner? Was it? Anne-Marie. Did you distill her enough?
No.
You sure?
Apparently it wasn't enough.
Oh, shit. Now, let me tell you something. The first part to be hit when you're distilled is your emotions. You don't feel bad. However, that is not true. The first part to be hit is really your thoughts. It's just that you don't see it. Here's a nice thing to use with the poor people who teach teenagers and children. Teenagers and young children. You have hard work to do. You have to sit down and see if you can actually break things down to small bits.
True.
I was told that the guys who bat fast ball, the batsmen, in their mind, when they do, they slow the ball down I'm not a cricketer. I'm not a cricket fan. Is that true? They slow down the curve and the turn of the ball and the bounce of the ball, even with miles per hour. They slow it down in their minds and they see it, so they know how to hit it. Even though the person's a pace bowler, fast spin bowler, whatever it is. That is something you have to actually do in the mind of the child. To slow down all the things that they're going through, to break it down. One of the things, for example, a school called me to do something on anger management. What I did instead, I did something on, the topic was peaceful resolution. What I was doing was I tried to get to the target. The target was not to manage the anger. The target was how to get a peaceful resolution. That was the target. So I changed the topic. Now what I did is I get them to understand that anger is not a primary emotion. It's secondary. So what you do is that you try to find out why you were angry. But really and truly, before the anger, there was hurt, disappointment, embarrassment. Those are the primary guys that causes the anger. So if you could get to the primary emotions, the disappointments, the intimidation, whatever it is, that dealt with, help the person to deal with the peaceful resolution, so the techniques. But because so much things are happening, it's hard to focus on what you know what we're doing. Right? Bad drive here, food didn't cook, I'm hungry, this person didn't do what they have to do, and then the loud music passing on the road. It's difficult to focus. And I like what she said, she had to block it out. That is what that is the reason, or the reason for the leverage time. You want to block out things so you can focus. Whether you take notes from Sunday or you went to the Bible study or whatever, that's not enough. How do I get this to become part of me? I have to take this time off and focus it. Like a laser or like a magnifying glass on a paper. Focus point, start building, you know that, right? The experiment.
Yeah.
Right. That's what you do with the meditation time. You focus it on one thing. It means there must be no distraction. It means you might have to allow or inform people you're living with, at this particular time, I'm not available. Shut off the phone, whatever it is may be. Because what you're trying to do is to get you to do internal focus. So the spirit, like my mind, my body, everything like that, but the spirit is saying with me. After a while, you realize that there's turmoil around, and it doesn't. It's around, it's in you, you are part of it, but it doesn't affect you. Because you know what to do. You feel it, but you know how to respond. Right? That's the process. So this an experiment just to show you that these things are happening, but you have to try to focus on that little point. You can try it on that. Right? There are different ways of getting it done. I'll say the disassociate or disassociations, which is amputating negative influences. That could be the news, and this is one of your assignments. It's not hard, okay? How many people love to watch news? Right? Huh? BBC. Right. Okay. Here's what you want to do. You want to fast some news for a little while. You will find out about the tragedy. Believe me. It's not people will inform you about it.
You will find out.
Right? The important things you will not be unaware of. You will get information. It will reach you. Right? But here's what's more important. The most important, you need to get to a zone where you know what God wants you to focus on. You need that. If you're going to create a solution, you need to know what your solution needs to be. But it takes a time. It takes a time of doing these things so that I can get to find, okay, so I become a master at being this particular solution to the particular people I'm supposed to call to minister, to help, whatever it is. To develop that mastery means I have to disassociate a lot of things that might conflict or hinder that. Disassociate myself from. I have to separate myself from sometimes. So sometimes even relationships, there are times when I have to cut the relationships short. You know, I'm relating, but my communication, my time spent is not as long, is not as anyhow. It's focused, it's short, and to the point, and I go on. So we have to make those adjustments. I had to make another adjustment with friends. How to do it? Because you're trying to do something, you're trying to get to find out this thing about God. You're trying to get this conviction from God himself. So that when I get the training from church, or I get the message from a Sunday school teacher, or pastor, whoever you're learning from, it's easy for me to implement it. I don't have to take 10 years to become it, or to make the adjustment. In 1 week, I could develop that. Because you've practiced, you've learned how to do it. So what you do, you become more efficient in your transformation. You know? So I'm trying to do this thing for so many times, so many years, and it's not happening. No more. But you have to practice that. Right? And of course, the reprogramming process, which is reprogramming your mind now. Right? That's what you're going to do. Right? Reprogramming. Reprogramming, reprogramming. Right. Raising the standard. Here is the standard. The standard is this. John 14:12. Look, remember I said, I think when I did the general presentation to the church, I said that everything you can get from Genesis chapter 1, 26 to 20. Okay? All of it from there. These are just statements Jesus is making to actually get you back to that original person. All of these things he's saying. Just to get you back there. Raise the standard. The standard. John chapter 14, verse 12. If you what? Verily. In other words, somebody tell me verily. Truly. Yeah? What's that next one? Surely. Definitely. I like those words. Strong words. That's the idea. Verily, surely, truly telling you, if you believe in me, you can do what I have been doing. So that's the standard. Right? And even greater things than these you'll be doing. It's the standard. So you're measuring the standard by what he was doing, what he is doing, what you believe he got. But that's the standard. So you have to decide, this is my standard. Nobody's going to make that choice for you. You have to decide that. You have to decide that. No health problem is going to take me out. No, this is going to take me out. I'm going to live like this. I'm going to find the principles. I'm going to live. You have to make that decision. Right? You have to decide that. Nobody can do that for you. And write it out. Right? Of course, limiting belief system. You have to decide what things have I believed from paradigms, the people who have taught me, that are keeping me back. What are some of the things that I learned when I was growing up with my parents, or I learned at the school I went to, my friends, that keep me back from becoming this person? Right? Right, so make a list of those things. Make a list of those things. Limiting. So they are limiting me from achieving that standard. Let me give you a little joke. One day, while you're studying, when you're going through these things, or sometimes just hit you some ball, curveball, what? What is that? So one day, I was getting sniffle. You know when you get the sniffle, I think, what's the first thought that comes to your mind? Getting cold. So the thoughts that I actually had was the same thing. And I heard a voice say, do you want it? I was like, what do you mean you want it? That was a shocker. What do you mean you want it? And it carried me back to that teaching that I did about freedom of choice. Yeah, you can decide if you want it or not. I was like, that knocked me out for a few days. I just couldn't talk. I was just like, they don't know what to say. You can choose it? Yes. Yes. Right? Question? Yes. Go ahead, question.
changing your limiting belief system. You said, Kevin, that write down so many things that in fact are limiting you. But
beliefs that you had, yeah.
But it is also true that something you don't realize that these are the things that are limiting you. You believe these things and you accept them to be true and accept them to. So, how do you always aware of that these things are actually limiting you? How do you always know that these are the beliefs that are limiting me from achieving further?
Right. Two things. One, I'm going to give you the list of areas you're going to focus on. Right? Which you're going to do through your meditation process. But, most importantly, you will ask the Spirit of God to reveal it to you. And He will do it over time. You won't get all one time. Sometimes you do it while you actually connect with somebody. And they say something and then the Spirit reveals to you. That's something that you will do. Yeah, the Spirit of God is going to do it. So all you're doing is going to take this and put it in the area. Okay, that is why I function like that in this area. This is why I have these challenges in this area. Put it on as a limiting. But He will reveal it to you. Right? He's very faithful in doing it. Right? He's very, very faithful in doing it. Very good. And He wants the best for you. Right? Good. So changing your limiting belief system. Make a list of the things. So I'm going to give you the areas. Remember the areas I gave you? Spiritual, which is connected to your character. Right? Spiritual is one. Alright, you can put them down. Right, and of course, relationships is wide, right? Friends, family, colleagues, whatever it is. Sometimes Pastor Miles calls this civic duty. Social services, civic duty. Something, nationally you're supposed to be doing for a group of people. So, those are the areas we're going to look at eventually. Go ahead. Question?
Is your list complete?
Which list is that?
That is on the...
These are, when there's some people break it up into more, but when you actually check it, some of them actually combine. For example, spiritual, they sometimes say spiritual and personal, but you realize it really linked because of how we understand that we are really spiritual. We are spiritual beings. But our entire body, soul, and spirit functions first from here, our character. All of this function from here. Our spirituality or personality even come from that too. I'm going to show you because they give a list called personal, which is character, personality, all of that. I'm going to show you how to break up even this one. I'll show you how to break it up into 4 quadrants. Your spiritual disc, your disc focus, your character, qualities, your Myers-Briggs or MBT, personality type. All of it could fit into this one thing. Yeah, it's actually 4 quadrants that fit into spiritual. And professional, relational could be divided into family, friends, work colleagues, or what's the word I'm looking for? People you just know. Acquaintances, that's what I'm looking for. Acquaintances. So we can break up this into several. But the idea is that the major ones. Physical has to do with health and well-being, how you take care of yourself, personal care, all of that. So it can break up into more. Professional, education, all of that is in professional. Because people don't go to school. I had to actually deal with, when I interact with some of the students, I say, well, why are you studying? What course? They say, well, I want to get a degree in so and so. I said, well, okay, but why? Because, it's a good thing I have a degree in so and so. I said, okay. So your aim really value in any organization or doing anything. And you have to get it to shift their focus. That education is not an end in itself. The reason why they're supposed to go for an education is because there is this thing I believe I should be doing. That's what I love to do. And this course or this program should be linked to that. When you do that, you get people who don't just focus on passing. You get people who want to master the subject. Right? That's another thing we teach in that profession. We teach children how to master a subject, not just pass a subject. Master this, there's a process to master the subject. As well, so much so that you start interacting with the teacher at a different level after the class. Right? In fact, whatever teacher having teaching the class because, right? You understand? You okay?
Thank you.
Yeah.
So this is a list of what?
The areas we're going to be focusing on.
Okay.
These are the areas we want to be focusing on when we deal with reprogramming. That was repenting. There are things that I believed in my personal life about me that are not necessarily true or correct. That's related to this. There are things I believe about how I treat people, how I treat my friends, how I relate with them, how I relate with my spouse or whatever it is, or children, that I have to repent of, I have to change the way I think. When I say repent, I don't mean necessarily that you're sinning, because God repented. God don't sin, right? It just means that I need to change the way I think about this. That's basically it. To create the value or to become effective. Professional, I need to look at my profession. Is this where I'm really supposed to be? Is this what I'm really supposed to be doing? Is this that I'm just supposed to be a good worker? Or is there something specific about this job I need to be the master of? Like ask this question. Is there some particular gift that I have? Or is it that I go to work because I could get a pay, but I do my gift another time? So who am I really? I have to deal with those things. We'll deal with those things later, but you have to ask those questions. Right? Financially, based upon what I'm called to do, what are the finances necessary to get this job done? Right? And your financial amount don't skateboard, he designed it. Alright? So when you calculate the list that he's giving you, and you look at the money value and you realize, okay, this will take about $1 billion US to complete at a particular time frame. That's okay. $1 billion US is not a problem to him. Don't make it a big issue. Right? But that's how far I've reached. I've calculated how much it will take to get this job done. Right? You have to be able to do that after a while. Physically, how healthy do I need to be if I have to go and do these things? If I'm dealing with gangs, and in gangs, I have a lot of strong men. It means I cannot just eat anything. I have to have a different body. Because yes, I have to be spiritually strong. I have to be. But the body carries the spirit. Okay? You're not going to be sitting down home with the spirit going and deal with the gangs. The body's going to carry the spirit. Right? You don't want that. Okay, so your body has to be a particular kind of fitness. You have to know how long is this program going to take based on what God is showing you. There is this thing I need to eradicate from this era in my society or this particular thing across the world, wherever it is. How healthy do I need to be? How am I going to take care of this body? Remember I told you about going to the place and I'm hungry and I see a doubles vendor and a food stall. I have to make a choice. How do I make the choice? It's related to this. I made the choice regardless of how wonderful the double smell. Because what came to mind, what became more powerful than the scent of the doubles and the aroma was this. I need to get this thing done. Right? So you see how conviction comes in? Because the conviction that you develop tells you, there's no way I can get rid of this. This is me. I have to do this. So when you call Pastor 1 o'clock in the morning because you can't sleep and say, Pastor, I have decided I'm going to do this for you. Right? This thing you're talking about all the time, I've decided I'm going to do it. Okay? Because you can't sleep. You can't get rid of it. The only thing that makes you sleep is because you get tired. Because you have dealt with this. You've gone into it. And Pastor realized he know he had no problem in that area. This person's serious. Right? They develop, so that start developing teams now and team leaders who not only are mature believers, but they are convicted that they have to do this. So pastor have to call you again to do that thing. You calling him. You want to know, pastor, okay, I need to get so and so done. I'll be in so and so place. I go in here. You'll be bothering him and say, hey, this is what I'm going to do for you. This is what I'm going to do. The Lord showed me so and so. What do you want me to do? You understand? You be running him down. That's the difference. Because you become convinced of something in there. And you're willing to do all that's necessary to get it done. I'm going to visit Mr. So-and-so because he's the man I need to get this report from. I need to go and get this done. So whatever it is, you're just going at it. Who do I need to call? You're calling people. Who do I need to call to get this paper, to get this thing approved, to get so-and-so done? Who do I need to do to fill out this? Whatever, you just ask it, you just kind of let it go. You become possessed by this thing. Obsessed with it because you realize God has placed this thing on you and I just need to get this done. You have shown it to you. Alright? That's why you focus on this. Because this now creates the service. It's linked to the service, the national service or the village service or the cultural service or whatever it is you're supposed to be doing. It's a link to it. Unless your vision helps people, then it's a concoction. It's a nice idea. But God is about building people. It's about bringing relief to people. Right? And that's related directly to some national service. There is where you get the whole issue of righteous governance, because you now have righteous people who are convinced, I need to lead this, help in this country. I need to take up the mantle and run for office. I need to take it up. Because this is a mess. This must be no more. You become convinced of it. Right? Because you've done your homework. Focused, listened, articulated, you've collaborated with your leaders, and you've tested it. You've tried to rest it, and you realize you can't rest it. You've tested it. You realize, I have to do this thing. Right? But it becomes real when you start focusing on this, right? Change the strategies. Very important, change the strategies. We're trying to model the best human being we know. Right? We can't get over Jesus, right? He's just awesome. Modeling is more efficient than mistakes. Anybody agree with that? More efficient, right? Right. Modeling someone who have gone before is more important than you trying to make mistakes and figuring it out yourself. Right. There's some things you can figure out, but the major ideas is to get in touch with someone who has done it, who is doing it. So one of the things I do in, with all you training is that I link the youths. I take the youths to someone who is professional in the area that they're gifted in, that they want to pursue. So that's something that's very good in terms of developing them. So my son wants to be a fireman. He loves fireman. I have no problem with that. He wants to be a fireman. Dad, take it to the firemen. Sit on a line with them, talk to them. Go to the fire service, carryman. Yeah, that's what he likes. He loves to play football, of course. Right? The professionals. Link him up. Talk to them. Ask questions. You know, the idea is to link them in their future. What they're gifted in, what they want to do. You're directly involved in their world. Right? They need to do a class, they need a lesson. You need to know that. What lessons do they need? What they're struggling with? What subject? Is there any way you can help? Is there anybody you know who can help with this? So you're directly involved in their world. Right? Mr. Harry Dollar will touch a little on that when he's doing the effective prayer system. Because your prayers now become precise. Your work becomes precise. So you spend less time just doing things. And you just be doing things more efficient. Right? Of course, these are just some of the things you have to master when you're modeling. You have to master the person's emotions. How do they feel about things? How did Jesus feel about the lady who was caught in adultery. How did Jesus feel about Matthew the tax collector? Or about Zacchaeus, who was a thief? How did Jesus feel about him? How did he really relate to him? The man was a thief, was a scoundrel, a scam, a smart man, right? How did he feel? And he mastered his emotion. Could he still love this man? Genuinely. Hmm? Yeah. So mastering that, we are modeling the way he feels about him. That's why he was called the what? Friends of sinners. Because he understood the pain, knew what was happening. Right? Physical, taking care of him. Did he take care of his body? That body had to go through some licks. He made of taking care of his body? Knew that. Right? Relationship. How did he relate? His siblings and different people. How he relate? Finances. How he dealt with money. Was he a squanderer? Was he a miser? Whatever it is. His time. How do you manage his time? He was always on time, not your time. Right? I remember the disciples telling Jesus, I think the message came to him, your friend Lazarus is sick. And Jesus kept making a different statement from the report. Right? He knew time. So even in that, one of the things we have to teach, my pastor and I actually agreed on, this is something that you can look at, is that sometimes people come to you, but they do not want release. Be careful with that. So they might not necessarily want help. They just want somebody to listen on. They just want to feel comfortable in the pain. Some people don't want it. Some people come sometimes even to prayer lines and don't want to be healed. That happens. And some people have to. There are times when Jesus asks, what do you want me to do for you? Of course, the man blind, this happening, and relax. Because I want to know what do you want me to do for you? And there are times when, of course, he will tell them to go and say no more. The idea is, if you want to maintain this solution that I've given you, this is what you do with your money now. Put some soap, put some, I'm giving you instruction to maintain and to grow from where you are. And I want you to remain there. So now we give them instructions. Go and don't continue the same thing you were doing all the time. You'll end up in the same place or even worse. So sometimes you have to do that. Right? But I think that's very important because you're trying to model his responses, his interactions. Okay? Questions on that? I think that's about it. Reprogramming. So, homework. This is for the 7th. Right. See how you can do your meditation. Remember, meditation is 1 chapter a day. There are 89 chapters. Right? You have enough time. Try to do one a day. As my friend already said, you don't need to have to do it chapter 1, chapter 2. You don't have to. It's up to you. But the idea is to get that focus point. You can use your leverage time or you can use your devotional time. It's okay. Use whichever time you want or both. But meditating on it means 2 things. 1, you are going over it several times. And secondly, you are trying to itemize what is Jesus doing or what is happening to Jesus. That's what you're trying to pull out from each chapter. Even before his birth, there was something being said or done about Jesus' birth. Right? You write that, whatever that is. Something was being prepared for him. Find out what that is. And let it sink. Yes. What for the chapters, you want to find out, you want to read it over several times, and you want to find out what is Jesus doing, whether he's teaching something, training, rebuking, whatever it is, or what is happening to him. What is he doing or what is happening to him? Go ahead.
What is he feeling?
Yes, what is he doing, what is he feeling, all of that is in connection with that. What is he feeling, what are his thoughts, what is his ideas?
In the chapter?
Yeah, in the chapter. In the chapter.
Can you make a note of it?
Yeah, make a note of it. Make a note of it. Because you want to go back to it eventually. You want to go back to it down the road. Alright? So making notes of that. Yes, go ahead.
Is it an individual thing?
Individual. I will prefer. But it's a good question. No, it's a good question because sometimes couples want to do it together. I will prefer if you do it alone. It might be challenging. If you can't, it's not a problem. But I will prefer if you do it alone. There's a reason for that.
Different people see different things.
What's that?
Different people see different things.
Different people see different things. But then I don't want to, it's not so much an individualistic thing, it's just that the aim of this also is to get Jesus to speak to you in this specific area of your gifting. Because there is something you are supposed to master. That's the reason for it. And they want him to reveal it to you specifically. Eventually that will happen. When we start dealing with purpose. Right? We show you how to actually separate it. Because it is specific, there's a specific purpose for you. Okay? And then we will, the section that deals with, which one is it? Section that deals with restoration, is it restoration? Restoration plan, I think. And personal reality links it to the people around you. Where your spouse fit in, where you fit in, where your leaders fit in, where your children, where your colleagues fit in. It shows you that because that's your reality, that's your world that you live in. It shows you that. Okay? And where they sometimes are actually help, God is actually using them to actually help you become stronger or develop something. Or show you where you have a weakness and you need them. This is your weakness area. Like this gentleman, this president, what's his name? Before President Bush. President Reagan was an actor. Remember, right? He was an actor. And sometimes people would use that as a joke. They kind of, he's an actor, this man leaving the country and things like that. But, he was so excellent. And they were asking him, how were you able to do this, being an actor and so forth. And what he said is that he staffed his weaknesses. That was awesome. He staffed his weaknesses. There are things I can do, they want me. I need to find somebody who can do that. You know who did that? Who was very good at that too? Ford. Harrison Ford. Very good at doing that. Finding the right person to do that job. Henry Ford. Say Harrison Ford. Henry Ford. Sorry.
Okay.
Henry Ford.
Another actor. It was Friday. It was a Friday, so there.
Yeah, Henry Ford. Very good at that. He staffed his weaknesses. Excellent. That's why he comes. Go like that. Right? One of the things we do in our Pastor Maya is doing with us in our mentorship program is actually how to identify that area where you need help and how to let the person who wants to run with it. It's relief. Right? You learn these things in companies, right? Corporate world, you learn, It's the best person for the job in that area. Right? Go ahead.
So that on the board there is part of the medication, also the chapters.
Not necessarily. This is, that part is just finding out about Jesus. This is where you're going down. You're doing this as part of your leverage time, where you're going through these areas to find out what is it about myself that I believe about me that's not lined up with what God believes about me. What's true about me. That's the first one. Relationships. I'm asking this question. I'm asking about the limiting beliefs. The things that are not necessarily that I interact and I say what I'm not supposed to be saying like that. I'm not supposed to be doing like that. Or I need to correct this. You try to find out what is in those relationships that need to be corrected, that need to be changed. That's what you're trying to find out. All the different areas. Professionally, in terms of your work. And some of the questions might even need to get you to understand that when you're working, is not where you're supposed to be. You have to ask yourself those questions. Serious questions about where you're working, what I'm doing as a professional, as job. Is this where I'm really supposed to be? That's a question. Financially, is this the finances that are going to help me fulfill what I want to fulfill? All of those things. Services, anything in society that I need to deal with, that I know, this thing bothers me all the time. I need to deal with this. I don't like this. Sometimes it takes a while to discover. But the idea is that to start asking questions. That's you personally now. Right? Eventually we'll link both. Right? But you use the leverage time to do that. You can even do it. It could be something on the road. You're asking yourself questions on the road. And you discover an answer, you put it on your phone. And it is, so when you go home, after write this in. You can discover it anyway. But the focus point helps you to dig deep. The quiet time helps you to go deep, helps the Holy Spirit to actually show you how to examine yourself and ask the right questions. Okay? And of course, all of this is going to building people on a rock, so that when you start dealing with the issues in the village or the nation, wherever it is you go, it's not just the same person. You might look the same, but what you have developed, what you have become, who you have become, wow, that's the difference, right? Go ahead.
With regards to the same list, right?
It's
not necessarily things that you were taught or things that was learned, but it's just something that you know is one of your shortcomings.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. I need to deal with it. And one of the things you have to look at with shortcomings, it's now 12. One of the things you have to look at with shortcomings is that a shortcoming or a weakness is not necessarily bad. But we have to let, for example, if somebody is depending on us in that area, we have to let them know. Do depend on me in that area. A good example is when I was in my former church, and even in this church where I'm in now, I told them, I don't want to be a board member. And I had to, several times the other church wanted me to be on the board. I said, no, because you're going to destroy me. I'm not meant to be on a board. I had to let them know that. I said, but yeah, but you help me so as you do. I said, yeah, but I don't want no position. Don't do that. I have to understand that. So I have to get somebody now who will be on the board, understand certain ideas. I can inform you. I can let you know, if you want to get this result, this is what you should do. So you can call me in to give a presentation or to share something or do a project. No problem with that. Don't put me on your board. You know? I have to tell you that several times. Because they could give you things that you put in places you don't belong. You understand? And you have to know that. You have to know that. Right now there's a promotion, there's a position in my faculty. A promotion position. I didn't apply for it. I don't want it. Because I need to move on. It's time. I need to move on. I've already known that this time I don't want the position. I don't want the position. No, you have to know when. You have to know your time. You have to know where you belong. But that comes with going through this process. So yes, you have to know that. So when people ask you, don't depend on me with that one. I'm not very good at that. So I tell them, don't ask me about money. Ask my wife. I can handle money. I will give everybody who asks me. Right? And I'm going to help this one. I said, don't ask me. Talk to my wife about that. She better. You have to know. So that's a shortcoming I have. I give too much. Right? So I have to know that. So when I get money, fam, I don't want to know. The cards, she would give me the card because I have to go to the top and do something or something like that. But when I reach back, I say, well, should take this. Because somebody's going to ask me for help, and I have to be careful with that. Now, one of the problems is that you have to understand, it's not that it's bad. It's just I need to know where it is and then let somebody else deal with it. Because giving is good. When it's time to give, she gives me all of it that needs to be given. When I have to drop the things in the orphanages, I go and I carry everything for the orphanages. I will run up and get everything for the orphanage and carry it for the orphanage. And play with the children or whatever else, right? I will do that. And she will come with me. But that is my area. So I have to know that. So that is not as bad. You have to know where to use it. So that's okay. Right? Just know it. It's fun, it's fun. Yes, sir. It's fun, it's fun. Alright? So you feel okay with that? You clear?
Good. Wonderful.
Yes.
All right, bye-bye.
And applause and songs so healthy. All right, so we will have completed our first full session of the program today, and Kevin continues to challenge us to think and to go back and really seek to renew our minds and I'm sure that we will follow the instruction. We're not here just to, it's not just a, hey, we just here for the session, but it's really a retraining process. And I trust that we will take advantage of that opportunity. We're not going to come again on our session and say, okay, this was a good session, and next week, so what happened between today and Friday? Nothing happened. We're not wasted the time that it took. I know it's an effort to come here today, and I'm really appreciative. I think we all are appreciative of the fact that you came out there this morning to be a part of the session. We want to say thank you on behalf of all the leadership. And so we want to move on. We gave you what your homework assignment is. Let's focus on that and make sure we do that. Just to reiterate again, we spoke last night about the books that are necessary for the training program. Understanding Your Place in God's Kingdom by Dr. Miles Monroe. The Kingdom of Power, Spirit-Led Bible Study by Apostle Guillermo Maldonado.